Well, this is Friday, November 29th. Basically, the first day I actually started driving with this load from Utah. This is my first stop in Willard, Utah. I just did 50 miles or 1 hour, so I'm required to stop and check my load. And I did some tinkering this morning at a truck stop. Moved a couple of, timbers. Of course, these are just boxes underneath, so I cannot tighten them too much. Otherwise they'll just break. But actually this tarp does help to keep things in place because they're so light. These boxes look pretty good. I twisted the strap. And after 50 miles, the straps on the box over there are still as tight as it was when I left the truck stop this morning. This one is good too. This one is a bit loose. Oh wow, this one is. The box is shifted a little bit. This one was giving me the biggest trouble. I ended up doing some, it's pretty tight. I ended up doing some radical surgery, and I removed all those tiny pieces of timber they put under because they were not nailed, and this big skid about 12 feet long was sitting at an angle when I tightened all the straps. So this morning I was just, when you go to bed thinking about a problem, and that's what I was thinking about like last night. And I bought an extra strap. See the bright yellow thing? I mean, normally I get them for like 10 bucks, but of course I'm nowhere near a truck stop in Ohio, so I paid 20 bucks for this. But I ran out of straps because it's such a, strap intensive load. And so I was thinking about this problem, right? So I decided that's what I want to do. I mean, that's what I need to do. I need to remove those unsteady small pieces of wood from under this big skid because it can shift. And I don't like when things shift, so I just remove those pieces and put longer pieces of timber. I think they're like 1 by 4 or something. Just put them on the other side of the skid, and now everything is chunky dory. Oh, and I washed my trailer this morning, right? Like 20 bucks. Well, of course they don't like touching the deck, but at least my wheels look shiny and there's no dirt on the frame. But I was talking to a guy from Ontario at a truck wash, and he said there's a big storm coming to Saskatchewan over there. So he said next week, so I'm unloading Monday. They said the chance of snow is 30%, but then Tuesday is 40%, and the temperature keeps dropping from like -5 Celsius to it's about what, 25 Fahrenheit, and then it keeps dropping to like -30, which is almost, I don't know, like -30 Fahrenheit. So I better get the heck out of there. But I haven't found my load, the return load yet, because of course everybody's closed, right? I think I did a good job with this. You see, they don't shift. So I used double timbers in a couple of spots just to make sure the skid is level. So now all is good. Well, I like it. I like it very much. Thank you. Okay, now I'm gonna grab a coffee and continue. I want to end up in Rocker, Montana, which is just on the outskirts of Butte, or as people in Australia say, Butt. I'm in Idaho. This is I-15 North between Pocatello and Idaho Falls. I'm just passing a small town called Blackfoot. And there's an interesting story with this town, because originally, of course, it was called Bigfoot, because that's where the guy lives. You know, the only one surviving specimen. But then they had so many tourists, you know, and tax authorities started stopping by, you know. So they had a meeting, and of course the Bigfoot was present too, because without his cooperation this was not possible, would not be possible. And they decided to rename the town to Blackfoot. So things became normal again. But that's where Bigfoot lives. It's a nice little town, and he's a pretty nice fellow, you know, plays with kids. Just maybe eats, you know, 1 or 2 a year, no big deal, but they like him there. It's too bad the rest of the country does not know that the Blackfoot is actually the residence of Mr. Bigfoot. So it's amazing what you can learn when you watch truckers' videos. Now I just passed Idaho Falls, Idaho, and this town has interesting history too. Now back in the 18th century, a German commercial pilot lost his job at the Munich airport in Germany, and he came over to the U.S. to claim some land and get settled here. And like, his name was Adolf Falsch. Now Falsch means false in English, and so he was also a nice fellow, just like the Bigfoot. And the locals liked him, and they called him. Soon they started calling him Ida Falls. And then when he died, you know, things got Americanized more, and the town where he settled became called Idaho Falls. So now we know, not everybody knows this story, and the residents of Idaho Falls would like you to believe that it has to do something with the falls and the river, but actually no, that's not true. So the founder of the town was Adolf Falsch. The sun is already setting, you know. And I remember this truck stop in Dubois, Idaho. A very nice, quiet location, so I decided to stop here. I still have 2 days.
Turn around when possible, Main Street. Turn right, Interstate 15 northbound towards Butte.
Shut up. So I have 2 days to reach Saskatchewan, and it's less than like 1,200 kilometers. I don't know. I mean, I wanted to reach Rocker or Butte, but I see mountains in the distance, you know. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to drive in mountains after dark. That's not my personal idea of fun. So I decided to shut down here, have a good time, you know, make the movie, watch some videos. I bought a DVD with 2 discs and 4 movies with Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know, like his older movies where he's still quick and agile. I'm having fun. I already watched 2, so I have 2 more left. See, there's 2 trucks over there. I'm like the 3rd truck, so I can park whenever I want. Last time I parked here, and there's a cafe across the street, and I know they open real early, so maybe they sell you know, espresso coffee, I hope. I'm gonna ask tomorrow. But anyway, some guys were asking me about the clutch, if it keeps squeaking after I did the clutch replacement. And you know, I wasn't paying attention, honestly, because even when it did squeak, it did not bother me too much. But then of course viewers started, you know, panicking. But when I was downshifting now here, coming off the freeway, I noticed that actually there's no sound, you know, just to give you an idea. Okay, hold on, let me write down my mileage. 75094. I need that for my logbook. But now I'm gonna press the clutch. Check this out. Well, there is a slight squeak at the very top, but then it disappears. Amazing. So, well, they did play with a free play. They adjusted the free play. That had something to do with it. But I'm pretty sure that as soon as I fix the linkage, because already 2 mechanics told me that it's worn out and it needs to be replaced, the linkage between the clutch and the transmission, then I'm pretty sure that sound will go away. But right now I can hardly hear it. Like when I'm driving, I can hardly hear it. So it became real great. I hope you guys appreciate this. Yeah, so this is the truck stop is seen with my flip. The sun is setting. That's the coffee shop across the street. Very quiet little town, Dubois. And which brings us to the last history lesson for today. Now, why Dubois was called like this, kind of a weird name, but they were a family of Russians that moved here in the early 19th century. And the head of the family was not very bright, and in Russian we have a word for a person like that. We say dup, which means you know, kind of like a dense individual, you know, like it was kind of like a semi informal way to describe. And no, the guy himself, you know, did not object, so soon it became his nickname. So everybody started calling him Dup. Dup this, Dup that, you know, and locals had no clue what that means, you know. They just thought that this was the guy's name, right? And Russians hardly spoke any English, and when they did, the accent was very strong, so they could not explain that Dup actually meant, you know, like a village idiot. And so the family grew, you know, the Russian family, Dup, and soon they took over, you know, the gas station. I think it was this one actually. They took over the restaurant, you know, couple of other businesses, you know, did some protection things. So, and the town was called Dubois, and only now we see some mentions of this connection to the ancient Russian mafia in some history books in Uzbekistan, but they're not available here. So that concludes my video for today. I only drove for about maybe 5 hours, so thanks for watching. I'm SERGEI DRATCHEV. Be safe.